In this video I want to show you how you might enter a new source and compile it in CodeWarrior. You're going to do that this week in Lab 4. The basic idea is what you don't want to do is necessarily have to recreate a project or a source file every time the way we did in Lab 1. You have a perfectly good package here. It's the KL25Z project, and in it are a bunch of header files. We're going to talk about these in class. These are all important. Here's the GPIO one. There's also a timer one, and these are all have been written to work with the NXP board and the add-on board, so we might as well make use of it, and it's fairly simple to do. In the sources folder you can have as many sources you want, but you can only be using one at a time. So this build column with a little check mark tells you which one you're using. If I want to try board tester, I can check board tester, but I have to uncheck another one. And it's fairly easy to create new files. The simplest way to do it, if you're creating from scratch, is right click on board tester and copy it, and then come up here to the sources folder, right click on that and paste it into the folder, and notice what happens. It allows you to change the name. So we might, for example, in Lab 6 do Lab 6, and maybe it's a sensor lab, and notice I have to keep the C on it, and I put it in and it automatically checks it for me. I can uncheck board tester. When I open this up, Lab 6 is board tester. Why is that good? Well, that has all of the pound includes I need to run the keypad, the GPIOs, the A to D converter, and it has sample code in it, and it has initialization code. This is all stuff I would have to type in, so I might as well use board tester. Don't corrupt board tester, keep it in its original state, and then make a copy of it and then change the copy. And that's a good way to proceed if you're starting from scratch. Alternatively, as we did in Lab 4, I gave you some code. So what I do in that situation is right click on sources and create a new source file, and it asks you what it is, and I'm just going to call it I don't know what. It doesn't have to say lab. I'm going to do security, because I'm going to go copy this out of our textbook, security system. And there's a sample security system package there. I'm going to put .c and say finish, and now it created it, and it actually created a little header for it, and it put my name in, so that's kind of cute. But what I want to do is go over here to the notes for the class, and on page 35 there's some security system code that I wrote a while ago. So I can take this whole thing and just copy it, Control C, and now I come back to CodeWarrior and I'll just drop it in here. Now PDF files don't copy perfectly. They've lost all the indenting, but this package is in there now, and I didn't have to type anything. I can certainly go in and clean it up. So for example, the for loop here is supposed to be indented, so what if I indent it? I'm going to highlight the whole thing, and then I'm hitting the tab key, and the whole thing is indented. Alternatively, I can indent a small section here, like from here to here. Okay, and so I can recreate the form of it fairly easily. CodeWarrior is pretty good about that. And then another little thing, these double dash comments, if you come up here to source and toggle comment, so it's actually control and a backslash, notice what happens. It takes them out and I can put them back in. So it's very easy to comment out sections of code. Just highlight it and do control backslash and it takes out the whole section. So you don't have to delete sections of code. You can just temporarily comment them while you're testing, and then you might need to reuse it so it's there. And at the very end, if you know you're never going to need it again, go ahead and delete it then. So those are some clues as to how to best use the source folder that we have that works with our board, and not having to reinvent the wheel each time. Either make a copy of board test and use that to start a project, or copy some code that I've already given you into a new source file and just fix the formatting. Give it a try.